as unappealing to me as possible. But even if I try to ignore all of my biases and look at it on its own merits, this is just bad. If we look at it from the perspective of a cover band, it sounds like shit. I'm not even an audio expert, if it's not obvious from listening to any one of my videos.
Okay, come on, you. Okay. Oh, damn it. Gotta close all these windows here. Okay, so this is me trying to finish up some more of this cartoon. It is almost there. I'm trying to get more of the Looney Tunes style stuff in there right now. So I'll just shift this on over. Make sure everything is working. I think 50% ought to do it. Let's try it. There we go. So yeah, I was finishing this up. Got a few new sections done. So here's what the tune currently looks like. So I finished this last little bit up here yesterday. Just because I can't help myself. I really wanted to get some of that classic Looney Tunes style humor going on with this. And I've got a tiny bit of audio. So the good news is this is about 2/3 of the way done with this tune. So I think it's going to be about 30 seconds or so. I'm trying to finish getting some of this stuff sorted out. Because right here, since it's the classic Looney Tunes gag of a character being flattened into a piece of paper that usually pop up back into place, that's the frames I'm working on right now. The only problem is I've got red drawn at the wrong angle for this. But I'm happy the tune is finally almost finished. So I've been working on it for about a week and a half. I'm hit or miss on some of my details. Oh yeah. I gotta copy my link and remember to post it on Twitter, just because I keep forgetting to do that. Yeah, I meant to do a stream the other day. Didn't work out. It didn't work out just because we've got obnoxious stuff going on here. Trying to get my father transferred to a new oncologist who is 50 miles away from us instead of the one that is 208 miles from us. But yeah, we've got a handful. Shit comes by the handful. So the issue we've got right now is the current oncologists that we have, outside of the fact that they don't communicate with us really at all, they also haven't given my father a proper prognosis on what they think his chances are, which is really horrible if you ever have to go through this with any of your family members or friends. And the oncologist just brushes off when you ask what the prognosis is, life expectancy and stuff like that. Don't drop it. Keep it. Keep bringing it up until they actually tell you. So we're waiting for the new oncologist to respond, even though he won't be responding until 10 days is when he gets back. So the real issue that we got right now is he has to decide whether or not he's going to take the case. And my mother is assuming that that has to do with my father's life expectancy. Real irritating when shit like this comes up, but I don't know. So we're trying to just get him sorted out. The other issue is we have not been given his goddamn chemo, because he was just put on a new chemo, and for some reason the paperwork that was mailed last week never arrived. So I did a frantic push for it the other day, was able to get it faxed to them, all within half an hour of them closing. So we're trying to get all this stuff sorted out and get him started on a proper chemo cycle. And the luck has not been really there. It's a real pain in the ass, because I'm trying to keep things going here. Because just because my father has a terminal condition does not mean I want people writing it off and saying, oh, he's going to die anyways, doesn't matter. That's pretty fucking lousy, so I've been doing my best not to swear that much on stream, but that's how I feel about this. So for right now, I'm just enjoying the fact that it's a pretty cool day here. And at the very least, we've got the paperwork started for him to get a referral over to this new oncologist, and hopefully they will take it. If not, we can try the only other oncologist around here, who is only 75 miles from us. Either one is fine. It's just the one who's only 50 miles away would be a little bit better. Just because 25 miles 25 miles closer. That's good stuff. So I'm just trying to keep things going here, because I barely got my stuff taken care of. Just because it's been one thing or another all week. And I can kind of take that normally. But since I've been sleeping like crap for over a week now, that always makes life harder when you can't get a decent night's sleep. So I'm hoping now that things have calmed down a little bit, maybe I can get some rest, even though we've got 4 days of it being like almost 100 degrees here coming up. That's going to mean a little less time working on the computer. But I might just end up going out into the garage and bringing my laptop and just writing out there. I've just got that urge to sit down and write something. My problem is I haven't figured out what I want to write. So I'm hoping the answers will provide themselves. Yeah, the perspective will be a little bit off on that, but that's okay. So yeah, my mother is talking about possibly getting my father back to Oregon just because they have more doctors available, and the idea is to get him over there, get his cancer treatment, try and get him into remission, and then head back here. I have no clue if that's a good idea or not. I certainly hope it is. But I would much rather we get all the nonsense and stuff taken care of here locally. Because my folks do have 3 very crabby little animals that would prefer they stay home. Because otherwise I would be here just kind of as a caretaker for the house. So, I'm not sure which way the winds are going to be blowing, but I'm hoping whatever happens, we can make the right choice. Because it does not look like my family is going to be getting much of a break from things right now. So let's see, that's okay, that's okay, good. Because the goal of this current stream is to finish off this shot and then get the next shot finished off. The next shot is very simple. And it'll boost this up to like 20, maybe 21 seconds long. But I'm getting up to the finale of this little short. And I'm happy with how most of it's come across. I really had to fight the other day to get all the rocks pounding into her in the previous shot. I had trouble getting that to work. And so now I just had to think, okay, what's the next few tunes I'm going to make? Because I think I've only got 3 tunes in me for the remainder of the year. So I'd like to do 1 Toon Fortress tune. I mean, I know which one I'm going to do, so it'll be, since I'm rusty on that, on doing Toon Fortress stuff, I will just do the easiest one for right now. So there's that one. I want to do a Halloween tune this year. And I know which one I'm going to do. Because I need to do two character designs. Just because it's going to be a short idea. And it's only going to be maybe about a minute long. I don't know how well it'll be received because it's a different type of idea than I would normally do, because normally I come up with monsters. But this one is different. It's going to be more sense of dread as opposed to jump scare. So it's a good idea though. And worst case scenario, if it doesn't do that well, I will just write a script for it and put it in the produce my script section of Reddit, because I did just sell a script there a few months ago, which, you know, it's a one-page script that an independent filmmaker really liked. So I let him have at it. And then a few months earlier, I had another independent filmmaker who wanted to make it. Basically, get the okay from me. The only difference is one guy is over, I think, in the Netherlands, and then one gentleman is over in Los Angeles. So I made sure that since he was optioning the script, which means he's buying it, I made sure that he was okay with someone else having the rights to do their own version of it ahead of time. Because the other guy who's over in the Netherlands is still working on trying to get the script going. I'm wondering if he's like me, where real life just took a dump in his lap. You had to push everything aside, but it has been a long time since I've done a horror screen animation. Yeah, the perspective on this is a little crooked. Just a little too crooked. I suppose that's the one bonus of having this simplified art style. You can keep track of your perspective just a little bit more. But I'm trying to plan out next year's projects. Because, as I said in the last stream I did, I want to have a bunch of stuff done ahead of time. Just so if it's done ahead of time, I can spend a little bit more time nitpicking on bigger animations in the background. But we'll see how things are going, just because my focus keeps shifting. Because right now there's the shit going on with my father, because he's got terminal cancer. And then there's my mother's health. She's got dementia. She's got thyroid issues. She's got arthritis. It's a lot to deal with. Whether or not you're autistic or not, I am. So I'm doing my damnedest. Because I was sick the other night. Because yesterday was kind of a rough day. I was just thinking about, like, every so often I've been having days where I haven't smiled just because of the stress here at home. And I was kind of thinking the other night, it'd be kind of nice to put out a tune that could make other people smile. Maybe if I make other people smile, it'll help me out. Just because I got a lot of stuff on my table. And sometimes you really need to laugh, and you can't find the right joke, or you can't find the right person to tell you a joke. And since I am trying to be just a little bit more self-reliant, I guess I'm gonna have to just start looking for silly stuff myself. So I'm still trying to remember how I used to do funny videos 12 years ago. The problem was it was always on instinct. I would just do something, and I wouldn't even consider how funny it was. And I'd hit more than I'd miss. So that was always comforting. Whereas now, I guess I suppose I still get a little lost in my stories. Which isn't a bad thing, because I love stories. You know, it's... when you're going through rough shit, a good story can help you get through it. Whether or not it's an allegory about what you're facing currently, or if it's just a story you really like. So I haven't made up my mind on how I'm going to handle things next year, because next year's probably going to be rough. Not just for me. I don't know if you've been if you guys have been paying attention to the state of the world we're in right now. We're all kind of up shit creek, and we're not going to be able to rely on anybody but ourselves. I'm kind of just getting that suspicion, which is terrible if you're in my case, because, you know, both of my folks require doctors, so we can't really rely on ourselves. Otherwise, we might be a little bit more sturdy. But I don't know, I'm starting to get over my fear of putting out more serious tunes. Just because I know I can do the more serious stuff easy. But it's doing the more serious stuff in a way that makes it entertaining I'm worried about. Because God knows I don't want to put out the next Rings of Power. I've been listening to people who watched the first few episodes of it, and the Tolkien fans don't like it because it's not Tolkien, and I don't blame them. And then people who aren't fans of Tolkien have said that they don't even really care for it that much. And a lot of the issue all seems to come down to the writing. And so I've been thinking more about my writing, and now I'm getting paranoid about my own damn writing, because I don't want to put out something boring. That's always been a phobia of mine. How you can Putting out something mildly amusing is okay. Just because if it's mildly amusing, then it's mildly amusing. People have been amused. But putting out something boring, oof. And the sad thing is that happens to everybody sooner or later. So I'm doing my best to try and think up ways to keep my stuff from ending up that way. Because I want to do an animated series. An animated series with story, not like with what I'm doing here with Dungeons and Debt, where it's just miscellaneous adventures of Red trying to make her way through the world she's in. Even though I don't even have a name for this world yet. I should probably come up with something. But there we go. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out how to keep people properly engaged. People being entertained is one thing. Engaged, where they're actively rooting for the character more, is preferable. And see, you can see right there. So this part of her body is still a little crooked, but it's facing the proper way. The legs are facing too far right. And YouTube is giving me errors. You settle down, YouTube. So that means the legs have to come down to about right there. And this is a character pose I've always had some trouble with. That's why I try not to use it, but I can't get around it right now. There we go. Much better. Because it's all a perspective thing, and it's a very common pose. I just kind of flub it a little bit, and I don't want to do that. And there we go. So to, I guess, adjust the perspective slightly, we do this to, make it more apparent that this is where the knees are bent. Oops. Boy, that looked awful. There. And I know why this is looking awful, and I think I can correct it without having to redraw everything all over again. Because I'm moving a little slow today. I was drawing part of this frame out earlier today, and I wasn't making too much progress. See. Now, this is mostly straight. But now the upper body is a little crooked. Yeah, perspective in animation and artwork is always... it's always kind of its own difficulty, just because, especially if you're like me, I don't storyboard this stuff. I just do it. And I'm getting a little bit better at storyboarding it in my mind at the very least, so I'm not going in completely blank with just the roughest of ideas. And I've been sketching it out a little bit, just to have some muscle memory. But I'm still kind of clumsy. But the overall tune is, it's very Chuck Jones and Looney Tunes. And that's what I wanted to try, just because I've never done that stuff before. I've always left slapstick to people who are really good at it, and I was just thinking it over back when I realized I couldn't pursue this cartoon series the way I wanted to because of everything going on at home. I just kind of realized that this is a much better approach, because one, my use of physical comedy isn't always fantastic. I could stand to grow there a little bit more. And the only thing was, when I started this project, I wanted to make sure that even though I'm going to be doing a lot of similar jokes to what people have seen, I want to find a few variants where I can at least put something of my own there. Very good. It's mostly correct. It's still a little crooked, but I'm not going to do anything more, because if I do anything more, I'm probably going to ruin this frame. So yeah, this that's what I did yesterday. I was going to add hair, I was going to add a nose, I was going to add other things here, but I thought, no, the sheet of paper coming out is probably enough. And I did put the audio in on this tune for a chunk of it, but I removed it for this stream. And I removed it just because the audio itself adds to the jokes. And if I show you everything now, then you won't laugh as hard or snicker as hard when the finished version comes out. I think I'm going to have this done about this time next week, maybe a little sooner. Besides, I've also got to get better sound effects for the rocks smashing into the character and the ground and everything else, because the SFX that I've got right now is a little limited. Yeah, I did pretty damn good with that. It's still not perfect. I keep thinking of other ways I could add to this just a little bit, and then I realize I'm just being too persnickety. So the audio is a little tricky for some of this because I have to get some really good sounding sound effects, and some of the sound effects that I've got I'm limited to just because there's audio out there that isn't free, unfortunately. So yeah, you can see pop, she's right there, but this is only one frame. So this is the end frame. So what I need to have here is one more frame. At the very least, I need one frame. I may do 3 frames. So this will be the finished frame of her sitting down. So I need one frame of her, I guess, popping up, and then another frame of her landing to just create that illusion that she's popping up back into position. Because then after that, the character looks up. So we will just do this. There we good. Oh, I keep hearing footsteps downstairs. Anytime I hear footsteps downstairs, I start getting nervous because the last few times I've heard footsteps downstairs, it's that I have to take my father to the ER. To be honest, I'm still not sure if we're going to have to take him to the ER again pretty soon or what, because his red blood cell count has dropped again, and his blood platelets have decreased. And that has to do with the cancer having eaten up his bone marrow, so his bone marrow is not replenishing his blood very fast. And what it is replenishing is only replenishing very slowly. So I'm half expecting this week because I've got his weekly. And his weekly trip is he goes down into the surgical center and gets what is called a Valcade injection. And this injection is into his stomach. And this keeps calcium from being leaked out of his bones and clogging up his kidneys. And then once a month he has the other shot in the arm, which helps keeps the calcium in his bones put. So, yeah, frickin' blood cancer. I keep having this comforting thought in the back of my head that maybe I can put out a viral video or put out that amazing screenplay that I've always wanted to write, and actually pulling it off and making a sale or just doing something where I can get some financial independence to help my folks a little bit, and then to, at the very least, you know, my father can see me succeed while he's still here. But since I haven't written that screenplay yet, and I haven't animated that tune yet, all I can do is keep focusing on that, because this is all the animation rules I'm doing now, where I'm trying to minimize motions to 4 frames and things like that. That is really great stuff to do to save time. These are important animation techniques and stuff that I've kind of just postponed, and I've always been the type of guy to just say, okay, whatever. If it takes 5 frames, it takes 5 frames. If it takes 12 frames, it takes 12 frames. I'm trying to plan ahead better, so I don't spend time doing 12 frames if I can get away with 5. Because that's going to be the way I succeed a little bit more. I'm going to figure this stuff out. I'm going to get better. Because damn it, it's not just getting better as an animator or as a screenwriter. I've got to get better as a comic artist also. And this year is pretty much over. And so I got to spend this last year getting better at 2 things, and now it's the 3rd thing that I need to get better at. And it's always the hard one, because I can't panel. I can't panel a comic well at all. I can do the dopey 4 panels, and that's fine. But when you have to panel it properly, especially in my case, I like how they panel in manga very well. It's got a very nice flow to it, and I can understand it. But I can't panel it that well. And even though I've gotten just a little bit better between the paneling and figuring out how much detail to have per panel and per page, that's where I'm still kind of fumbling. Because my character poses have gotten better since I've been trying to carry that over to my animation, which is comforting. But I keep chasing the stuff I really like, even though that's kind of a lifetime's worth of skill to be able to panel as good as some of the stuff I like. But damn it, I think I'm gonna try and get that solved, because I had to make up my mind on what I wanted to do with what was left of my life a long time ago. Just because there was a dream I was chasing that just wasn't going to happen. So I'm trying to really get that sorted out, because I really miss being as into doing a lot of the art stuff that I used to do. Because that was I used to be able to just do stuff and not think about it. Now I think about it and I don't do it. Not a very good mixture, but I'm getting there. I think I've just let myself get too scared to create. Okay. So this is the landing frame. So I get this done. Excuse me. Just got to correct this a little bit. There. Okay, so the arms and the body are working pretty well. doesn't quite look correct because of the position of the knee. The knee is too high right up there. Yeah, this is a perspective issue. Come here, you. Who knows, I may have to do this in 4 frames. We'll see. But I'm getting the urge to do bigger tunes again, and I can't do that. At least not right now. Let's try that. Oh, it's auto-saving. There we go. Okay, so the last thing I have to do is add in the feet, and then after that, at least the body part of this frame will be finished. Okay, that works. That works. I may have to do that, get that 4th frame in there to get the right bounce motion, but we'll see. But yeah, doing this in 4 frames is a hell of a lot faster than doing it in 7. Well, it's a 3-day weekend for everybody who's got a job. I'm hoping that y'all get to enjoy yourselves. Go have some fun for me. Let's see, it's Labor Day. Wait, is it Labor Day or is it Veterans Day? I can never remember. Of course, with all the other shit going on in my life right now, I'm not surprised I can't remember, but... but either way, everything is closing down and people get to have a day off and relax. So, whatever happens, make sure you, at the very least, you get to relax on behalf of those of us who don't really get to relax all that much right now. As long as someone's getting out there and doing it, then the day is getting used properly. Oops. Okay. That's done. I can see why this isn't working. Oh, these perspective shots are always death. The problem is they look good, and you know, you can't say no to that, but sometimes you just can't get them to work. As you can see, this is too much, this is too low, and then she's too high right there. The nice thing is, at the very least, her feet are lining up, and the legs are mostly lining up. So I'll just correct her butt a little bit right there, because I think that's probably more what it is than anything. Yeah, I keep checking my email to see if my father, the confirmation of my father's chemo's coming through. That'll do. Yeah, that's much better. At least I think it's better. I could be wrong. Let's see, it's 4:52. Damn. Okay, well, the specialty pharmacy shuts down at 5 5:30, so I am assuming there's probably not going to be any news today. Ugh. Well, at the very least, we made contact with the manufacturer and the specialty pharmacy and all that stuff. But I was hoping to get his medication here by tomorrow, if possible, instead of like Tuesday. But I guess it's going to be Tuesday. Huh. That almost works. You know, I might just leave that alone. I mean, yeah, it's not the pop-up and bounce I was looking at. At least that I was trying to make happen. But I think it works pretty well. Stretch my arms and back out a little bit. Yeah, I slept incorrectly on Monday, so my neck and back have been, I guess, out. So that's always really irritating when that happens. There used to be a time where you could recover from that just after 2 days. And now that I'm in my 40s, mid-40s now, that I'm 42, I miss those days. Because then you just gotta deal with it for a day or two and your body just corrects itself, whereas now it takes me 4 days. And I suppose I'm still kind of used to my body doing that, but I'm gonna have to start getting better at stretching, just to try and keep this from happening again. Here we go. So let's see. I gave her you know, I'm not even sure what to call this other than like a glove sleeve. I don't know, I kind of just got the idea because I forget what century it used to have fashion where it would have baggy cuffs and baggy pant legs. But you traditionally would see people dressed like that in the old pirate movies of the 1940s and 50s. There we go. But yeah, I'm hoping this tune does well. Because even though I would love to have 20 or 30,000 people see it, I think I'd be happy if I could get 5 or 6. Get some more watch time, get a few more people in my audience. And then I can just focus on growing my channel a little bit more this year, because next year I want to have all the tunes done. And then I want to be able to try and sneak in a bigger tune or two towards the end of the year. Okay, just got to correct this a little bit because the hand is just a little bigger than I wanted, and the sleeve is a little bit more than it should be. There. Now I got to do cleanup, which is always kind of irritating. But yeah, I've got a few humble things left in my life that I'd really like to accomplish. I want to sell a feature screenplay, maybe have it get made into a movie. I want to get a popular comic book series going. And I want to make a video game. But I'm still working on the story. Oh, be quiet, YouTube. Yeah. But that's the problem. It's a survival horror story, so I got to work on that. And unfortunately, in my case, I get to a certain point and then I stop, and it's almost like I lose interest or I've burned out. Usually, when I hit that point, that's my mind's way of telling me I've hit the wall in some way or form, and I have to go do something else for a while. Because I still want to do Misfortune, because it's a pretty solid little idea on its own. But now with everything that's going on with my father, I have to think of a new way to do stuff. Because I got to do it quick. And the problem is when you got to start doing stuff quick, your quality starts dropping. And I've barely started. There we go. Yeah, I've barely started on it, and then everything that's happened has happened. Yeah, even my programmer is experiencing some stuff. Because normally he's good at getting back to me, but he hasn't responded. So if he hasn't responded, something's up. So what we'll do is put that arm right there, and then I will just get rid of that little spot. There we go. I think that's appropriate. So now I just got to condense her arm. This part of her arm is good, but it's a little too thick. That's better. Correct this little issue right there. Whew. So I just got to put one more arm, and then this the body frame is mostly done. I may just keep this at 2 frames and then add an extra frame or 2 of animation to her head, so the hair can bounce a little bit when she pops back into place. There we go. Whoops. Did not want that. Come on, you. Whew. Very good. A little clumsy, but it's almost there. Okay, there's the magic. Whew. Yeah, I'm nitpicking too much. I'll stop. Double check. Nope. Damn. Was really hoping to get notified about my father's medication, but I guess not today. I suppose the appropriate term is c'est la vie, but not when you're dealing with cancer. Yeah, when we eventually get my father transferred over to another oncologist, I'm going to do a story time video about all the horrible shit that we've had to go through. Just to get it off my chest, because it's one of those things that you don't want to sit back and watch someone you love have to fade out. And medical neglect is... ugh, I won't even get into that. But there we go. Okay. So yes, even though I'm going slow, we got 2 frames almost done. And that's good. Yeah, I was watching some old Tom and Jerry and Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner stuff just to try and remember some of the flow to how to tell these jokes. Just because Chuck Jones was so good at what he did. And so were guys like Tex Avery and Frank Taushin. Or is it Tashlin? I can't remember. But they were great at coming up with gags. And then the hardest part to make a gag work is getting the timing. And I still struggle a bit on timing, but that's okay, because I'm still doing it. And there we go. Okay, so what I will do with this is we're going to have the arm drop just a little bit more. So that way it's not exactly the same frame. Because our bodies do have a habit of moving limbs around when we're in motion. So there we go. I have yet to decide what episode 2 is going to be. Because this one is a less serious companion piece to the first one. And so this one is, I guess, a little bit more of a sketch than anything. So I'm trying to decide on what to do for the third one, because there's no action scenes or combat in this tune. And so that means the next tune I've got to have a little bit of that in there. And I've yet to decide what I want to do. I was actually thinking of having a brief fight with a spider. but I'm not too sure yet, just because I, you know, don't quite know what people want yet. So we'll see. The thing also is, you know, when you have to do a fight scene, or every shot can take a while, because the little sword fight I had in the last tune, which even though it was short, it was only a 10-second fight. The two actual scenes with sword fighting, that took a week to do each of them. Up, did the arm drop too much? Ooh. I think I lowered her elbow too much. Just a little bit. Because this needs to be about right there. But it would be nice to do another fight scene, even if it's a short one. See, this arm's got to come out just a little bit more. About right there. Just because of the angle it's at. There we are, that's good. So either way, this tune looks like it's gonna be 30 seconds or so in length. And it does end on a dopey punchline, which I can't complain about, because I actually I changed when the punchline pops up, because I had that in the last tune where warning, falling rocks is the punchline for why stuff is happening, but I opted to change that to the very end of this tune. Oh, I hear doors shutting. Oof. Hopefully that's just the wind. Very good. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do two. This is gonna have to be 2 frames. I mean, one more frame after this. I was hoping to do that with less, but I guess I'll have to pass. But yeah, this is, for something that's inspired by Looney Tunes, this is coming around pretty good. Oof. Come on, you. The only thing is I have to have a specific reaction to what she's going to see next. And I haven't quite sorted out what I want that reaction to be yet. I also don't know if I want to do anything and maybe just have the action that's going to happen. Just out of concern, because I can't have the character look up at something, pause, and have her jaw drop, and then have the same thing. Character sees something, jaws drop, she's scared, joke happens. So I don't quite want to do that. So I should probably have a more extreme reaction. Okay. This is the last frame. I hope. Because then her body's done, then I just gotta add in the head. And I will eventually add in the handle of her sword, and then I'll add in the shield back there, but I'll do that on my own time. So, down, up. double check. Yeah, it doesn't even look like the knees are going up yet. Dang it. There's my OCD kicking in, but I'm not going to fuss. That's a good. It's a good skill to have, to be wary of this, because I want it to look like her knees are pulling in, and it doesn't look like they're pulling in yet. And now it kind of does. Put this down to 6. Good. So straight, up, and then down just a little bit. That's too. That's not right. That is better. I will correct the angle that's at later. I'm not sure I even want to have any voice acting in this, just so I don't bother my voice actress too much, because, you know, it's a handful of reactions. And she's a busy woman, so. Okay. There's. So let's see. Out, in, out. I think about like that is good. Yeah, it'll be exciting to have a new tune finished, just because it's been a while since I've been able to really get any animation out, since of all the stuff that's been going on. I had to kind of just sit back and do character designs and comics for a while, and I was just really missing animating. Not sure why. I feel more productive when I animate than I do when I do comics or when I write a script. Speaking of scripts, I should write out that Halloween script that I'm gonna animate it myself, but it's meant to be a one-page script. There is the Killer Shorts competition, and I submitted one last year that didn't place, which was sad, because it was I thought it was a pretty solid one-page script. So this year, I've got the elevator idea that I'm gonna do, and I have a feeling that one might be a little bit better, because I suppose the idea is a little bit scarier, because what I had previously was sort of building up to a moment, and when you only have a page to write, if the moment doesn't quite grab people's attention, then it just doesn't work. And I suppose my idea, while visually is very good, it just didn't quite work. So the one I've got planned right now should be better. At least I hope it should be. Oops. Adjust my brush size here. So up, down, down. Oops, too low. Too low. We want about right there. Nope, that's still too low. Just a smidge more. All right. There we go. Auto save. You are my best friend and worst enemy. Worst enemy because when I start getting into the feel of what I'm doing, it interrupts me. Best friend just because I've had so many crashes over the years. You really don't want to have to go through that again, because I've had some pretty rough crashes. Yeah, a hard drive crash where you lose everything is probably one of the worst things out there. I've had that happen to me twice. The real problem was the second time it happened, I did have a backup. And backup only had a little bit of what I needed, and I had to start over on a lot of stuff. Because even though I had that backup, I kept forgetting to back up. And that was a really awful feeling. So now I've got a backup, and then I've got a second backup. And because of everything that's been going on, I forgot to back up my backup. So I need to back up my backup when I get a little bit of time. Okay, and put the one arm down there. Good. Put the other arm in position, and I guess we'll take a look. Because I have no clue how good this is going to look, or if it's going to be passable. Is it going to be okay, or is it going to be or is it going to be me having to nitpick? Oh, that's not bad. See, that's okay. That's okay. That'll do. The only hard part is going to be getting the arm and then her head sorted out, because I really got to get the hair to properly bounce. So far I've been doing pretty good on the hair bouncing, so we'll see. I hear more footsteps thumping downstairs. Don't think I'm ever going to have it in the back of my head anytime I hear thumping downstairs that it's an emergency trip to the ER isn't a possibility now. Whew. Get this in, and then we'll get the arm done. then that's the hard part. Getting the rest of her in this image shouldn't be as hard. We'll see. Because you never know. Yeah, I was worried about that. This needs to come in just a little bit more. What happens if we take away another frame? Oh, that actually doesn't look really big. That looks good. Okay, I guess that's it. I will probably have to add in an extra frame for this, just so it looks like she's struggling to return to shape. Okay, I'm hearing noises downstairs now. I'm wondering what's going on. Okay, well, I'm not hearing anything now. Okay. Well, maybe I'll be lucky and it's just my mom being loud with one of the pugs. Okay. Get this in, and then I'm done with the body. About right there is good. Yeah, I purposely got her body proportions off just a little bit. Does kind of drive me kind of crazy, because a part of me still keeps trying to draw her more proportionate, but it's a cartoon character. Granted, I've only been drawing her on and off for a few months now, and I've only been working with this newer design for a few weeks. Guess I just don't quite have the muscle memory built up. There we go. All right. Oh. Hope I hear the next door neighbor's dog. Whew. So this goes right there. Okay, 526, and nothing from the specialty pharmacy. Ugh. Okay, well that's just confirmation. Shit. Well then I guess the chemo will not be arriving until Tuesday. That is not very comforting. Oh well, I can only do so much in a day. But there we go. Oops. No, I didn't want that. I wanted to get rid of this frame. There. Alright. Take a look at the finished product. The line work just needs an adjustment or two for here, because this should be down to about like that. Auto recovery. Come on. And bloop. That's done. That's done. This is not done. I gotta correct that. Oops. Too much. There we go. Hey, it works. Now the hard part. Making sure I keep the proportions of her head. Although actually, I see one more. I see something else that is not in proportion. Now it is. Yeah, this oversimplified style. Yep. Okay. Oof. And I hear my mom is thumping around. Let me turn the audio off for a moment. Okay, I think she's done thumping around. And there we go. So you can see the little bounce. I would have normally liked to have kept this at a higher frame rate, like so. But it's hard to deny it looks much better when it's sped up. Because then I still get a little bit of the bounce that I wanted. So let's see, her head would be about like there. Correct the cheek here just a smidge, and bloop. I think that's it. Yeah, I need to get better at drawing stuff in this perspective. I used to be really good at it, but I didn't do it for several years. I'd sure love to be as fast as Sergio Aragonés is as an artist. Whew. He is one of the world's fastest cartoonists. He's also a very funny guy. I've been enjoying his little videos that him and Mark Evanier have been doing on their Gru channel on YouTube. Because I grew up reading Gru. The absurdity behind everything and how well written it is made it such a fun comic to read, even though, yes, the art is very, very toony. Okay, and because this is going to be the middle frame, I wish my mom would stop banging that door downstairs. So this is the middle frame. So what'll happen is, okay, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted either. So the middle frame is going to be her eyes popping open, and the first frame will be her eyes shut. And so her eyes have to be a little larger than I would normally make them, so that on the next frame, when they're normal size, it looks like there's a little bit more of a pop to them. And then that'll probably be about it for this stream, since I'm running behind on stuff. I know I'm more fun to watch when I can get stuff done a lot faster. But today's a little bit of a slow day just because of all the shenanigans that have been going on this week. So I am hoping next week will be better. And I'm not just saying that because my folks will be out of town for a day. So I will have the house to myself to just unwind a little bit. But the downside to that is it's me and 2 cats and 3 dogs. And the dogs, those are my folks' dogs, so I'm not very interesting to them, even when I feed them. So they're not going to like being by themselves. But too bad, because my folks have to fly down to the hospital so my mom can see the rheumatologist, because her arthritis is wreaking havoc on her. Okay, just got to adjust Red's nose a little bit there, because she does kind of have the button nose now. Well, almost button nose. And there we go. Yeah, that's mostly proportionate. Just got to correct the line work here. Because it's a little thick, and I am trying to get better at that, because when I start doing the bigger tunes, the line work has to get better. That's part of why I'm a little bit more persnickety about it now. But starting next year, I want to start putting out stuff that looks better, and that means better line work. Because even though it may take me a year, I really want to put out better quality animation. And some of that starts with line work and line work consistency. Because, like I said, if I can create the illusion that this is something that could be on TV or on a screen, that's good enough for me. Okay, so this has to go up there, this has to go there, and so what I will do is we shrink her eyes down, autosave, so I'll shrink the eyes down just a little bit. Thank you. Lower her eyebrows down. About like that. Yep, come on, you. Not enough. Okay. So now for this, we do this with the eyebrows. This is also why I draw my eyebrows in this shape, so it's easier for me to manipulate them. There we are. So now you can see I've got room to increase the size of her eyes. And the mouth has to be expanded out to there. Because I'm lazy, I'm just going to do this with the eyes. Normally I would redraw them. Whoa, that's not good. Oh, I'm looking at something on my computer monitor and thinking it's something I missed. It's cat hair. Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah, the timing is just about right. Head position's got to be a little lower. And then last but not least, put this last frame in. Okay, so her eyes are shut here. And then I will just correct this. And I am probably going to have to add another frame of this just to finish the illusion. But I'm not sure yet. Part of me doesn't want to have to draw anymore. Not that I haven't drawn enough yet. And because of the angle this is at, I want a shift on on the head as well. So the hairline gets lowered. Oh, and there we go. So the hairline and the eyes are lowered. The mouth has to vanish for, at the very least, this one shot, because the nose has to drop down. All right. It's so fast you can't even see it. And since her eyes are actually a different color of ink, they have to be done separately, because that's just how this art style is. There we are. That'll do. Hey. Oh, no, that's not what I want. That would ruin the whole cartoon if that happened. So here is how things look currently. Let's push that right there. So I will do the hair on my own later. I still need to put some kind of a graphic right there, because we've got all this empty space. It looks like it could use something. So, but here is the full tune as it is right now. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. I've got everything else at this slower frame rate. But I think based on what's happening here, it's probably better to keep that at what it is. So, thanks for everyone who stuck around with me for a while. I know it's Friday and everyone's got other exciting things to do. I'll try and keep my streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays if possible, but we'll see how things go, because God only knows what this next week is going to be. I'm hoping it's better than today. Well, today, better than this week. So, other than that, thanks for stopping by and hope you enjoyed the stream.